A snake got blamed for killing his owner. The only thing is, I don't think they know how to use a gun. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef, the Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to another dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the true crime story of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, this is a whole bag of nuts with a capital N. Like, this is, what the hell? Basically, a snake was blamed initially for the owner's death. However, not all was as it seems. What the deuce happened? I'm going to break it all down for you in a moment. Before I do so, though, a little bit of quick housekeeping. Firstly, hello, YouTube human reviewer. I see you watching. Just to make you aware, I'm giving a quick overview of the case. I'm not going into extreme detail. And for everyone else watching, thank you very much for stopping by. If you love true crime on the daily, served with a little bit of gob and sassiness, basically all of this, right? Make sure the next thing you do is you smash the hell out of that subscribe button. Like, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And let's jump into it, shall we? So we start at the beginning with Mr. Benjamin Renick, the man that unfortunately passed away. He was passionate about wildlife all his life. He loved snakes, reptiles, all that lot, and he grew up to have a successful business of his own called the Renick Reptiles Facility, established on land in Missouri. Had been in his family for decades before he then took it over. He bred exotic snakes, and some of them freaking sold for like $25K, like proper successful, right? By 2017, he sold a 72-acre business to a professional ice hockey player in a deal rumored to be $1.2 million. Like, the dude was like, money was just coming at him left, right, and center. Sadly, though, personal life wasn't as successful. He was married to Lynlee Renick, age 31, and she ran a spa in Colombia. The thing is, though, in comparison, it was night and day. His business was shooting off at stars. The ignition wasn't even lit. Her business was absolutely struggling. Mounting debts, just not that much custom. It was just going under. It wasn't as successful. And as you can imagine, their family life, their relationship wasn't great. Because, put it this way, right? You've got one of them, successful business, selling snakes at $25K a pop sometimes, selling a business for over $1.2 million, money coming out every which way. Like, he's just getting it. You then got the other one, not so much. Business is struggling, not enough money coming in, so much crippling mounting debt, but business. So you can imagine that kind of disparity, that kind of unevenness in the relationship, in their business and whatnot, that's going to put a strain on their own personal relationship, wouldn't you think? Now, she had been unfaithful at least 3 times. Yeah. Told people she wanted to leave Ben, but instead was like, nah, I'll just be unfaithful and not leave Ben. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go on a little rant here. If you're going to be unfaithful, right, just leave the dude that you're with, or do that, right? Just don't cheat. Just leave the person because you're obviously unhappy with them, and then go with someone else. Like, why'd you have to be with someone, but then go behind the back to be with someone else? Like, quite clearly you don't want to be with them, so fucking end it and just go off with someone else. Like, is that so difficult? Is that so difficult? Is that really naive of me to say? Like, oh, it frustrates me. It frustrates me. Okay, moving swiftly on. So on the 8th of June, 2017, this is when the shiz hits the fan. So she calls 911 and she's sounding frantic. She initially says that she's gone to see her husband at work, but found that he had been ended by one of his snakes. Wait for it. Because snakes can't use guns. I don't think they'll know how to use them. What happened? Emergency services rushed to the location. They were extremely cautious because, they've got a report. Dangerous snakes on the loose has already ended the life of one. Like, dudes, they ain't going to come in freely. They're going to be a little bit taken back thinking, You know, like, where's Wally? Where's Snakey? Like, where are you? Because you ain't getting to us. Not a freaking chance, right? But they arrive, and, yeah, situation's not as what they expected, guys, as you can appreciate. They find him on the ground. All snakes, safely sealed, all in their enclosures, living their best life. Snakey ain't on the loose. Instead, he's on floor. And, yeah, bang, 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 at least 8 times. And at least 4 in the back. And you could see some of the bullet casings nearby. Now, I'll tell you something, guys. It would be an insane miracle if a snake knew how to use a firearm, let alone actually physically put it in their non-existent hands, right, to then aim and then go bang, 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 bang. Like, this is ridiculous, right? So, all of a sudden, straight away, the wife, the widow, proper on Sus Street, right there. Because she said, remember, snake ended him. They get to the scene. Yeah, that's clearly not what happened last, right? So, quite clearly, she's questioned. She's like, dude, do that. You said it was a snake. What the deuce? This clearly ain't a snake. Hitman here. Job. She pointed the suspicion at Ben's older brother, Sam, and suggested he was the suspect. But there was no evidence or motive, and a rift grew between Ben's family and his widow. Now, there was a lot of money involved in this estate, because she was in line to receive Ben's $1 million life insurance policy. And bear in mind the $1.2 million that was coming into business because he sold that patch of land to the ice hockey player. So she was getting at minimum $2.1 million, right, from the estate. On top of the sale of the snakes, sell them off, and all the equipment for the snakes, and that's a lot of money, I tell you that right now. Like, she was in for proper mucho bucks, right? And the investigators initially thought, you know what, it could have been an intruder. Only thing is, note was missing. The money wasn't taken, snakes weren't taken, because again, if you remember, some of those snakes went for $25K a pop. None of them were taken. None of the snake stuff was taken. None of it. It was all left. So, as quick as the idea of, well, maybe it was an intruder came into their heads, I can only safely assume that it quickly exited. Stage right. Shut the door behind it, never to freaking return again. Do you know what I mean? So, she sold the business, and that was it. The fight began. The family would have to wait, though, until January 2020, a couple of years ago, for a breakthrough in the case, because up until then, nothing could be connected to her. She had literally got away with it. Police got a tip-off from a man that she had been dating called Brandon Blackwell. They had a child together, but then split up, and he had been ordered to pay child support. At the time, he talked to police, and he was in prison, pending a case for some unfriendly following of her. He told officers she had confessed that she had actually been involved in Ben's passing, and that's when it all unraveled for her. That was it. She was in their sights at that stage. So that led the police to speak to Ashley Shaw, who worked at the spa with Renick. When she was questioned, Shaw told the officers that she had claimed that Ben was not nice, and that she claimed that she wanted to leave him, but he was worried that the kids would be taken and the money and all that scenario. She told the police after that the discussion quickly changed to ending his life. Not a nice, friendly conversation to have. What do you think? Shaw said that in May 2017, she had helped Renick ground up some tablets to put in his protein shake, but that didn't work. At that stage, she turned to the ex-boyfriend, Michael Humphrey, who had a criminal record. And here's Michael Humphrey right here. Now, I have to admit, my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, that don't look like a friendly face. That don't look like a face I would trust. Let me put it that way. And there's good reason for that, as we'll learn later on in this article. Humphrey and Renick were arrested, and in exchange for future testimony, Shaw faced no charges. When she was questioned, she finally admitted that she was lying, but she still pointed the finger of blame elsewhere. She claimed she had simply asked Humphrey to come with her, but on that day, she wanted to ask Ben for a divorce and was worried about how he would react. She heard some bang bangs. Humphrey ran out. When she returned, she found Ben lying on the floor, not alive anymore. So, here we go, right? She initially says the snake did it. Then, quite clearly, when you can see that it definitely wasn't a snake that did it, she then blames it on the brother. And now she's changed the story again, and she's now blaming it on the ex-partner. I'll tell you something. I've watched enough investigation channels, series, episodes, all that malarkey, right? To know that when a person involved in the story is changing their version of events, that's highly sus. And you got to start giving that person a definite side eye and be like, dude, dudette, really? Like, you're looking proper sus right now, lass, or ladette. Like, dude, what are you saying? What really happened? Because you're weaving away my lies right now and it ain't looking good on you. Let me put it that way. So what happens next out of all of that? They both get charged. Renick, Humphrey, they both get charged, right? He goes on trial, he gets found guilty. Only thing is, at that point, he's like, you know what? If I'm going down, I'm taking her down with me. He strikes a plea deal, so then his conviction gets lessened to second degree, and then she goes on trial. And she makes her case. She's like, no, I didn't do it. This, that, and the other. Blah, 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 blah. Shaw took the stand, said it was Renick who did it. Shaw even had text messages to Renick during the incident to establish the alibi. When asked why she'd help her, Shaw said she didn't know and admitted it was the biggest mistake she'd made in her life. Prosecution said Renick had basically ended Ben for his money and to keep custody of her children. Her spa was failing and so was a marriage. And if Humphrey had suddenly ended Ben, why hadn't Renick checked on him or called 911? Instead, she fled the scene with the man she claimed had pulled the trigger. Afterwards, she'd even sent a text message to her husband saying she loved him as though nothing had happened. And she also texted Humphrey. I tell you something, she's more cold-blooded, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, than all the freaking snakes combined. That's, what the deuce, right? Here's a picture of Ben right here. Poor dude. The defense just said she made poor decisions during a time of trauma. Like, she wasn't thinking straight, she made poor decisions. That was it. Dude, really? That's the defense you're going with? How about the 3 freaking times she said it was the snake, then it was the brother, and now it's the ex? Like, dude, how do you freaking explain that, right? Bear in mind that there's a nice little financial incentive of upwards of 2.1 freaking million that she's inherited from the estate. I mean, come on. Don't take a freaking genius to work out what's what here, right? Whew. While Renick cried, prosecution called her the mastermind of the incident and reminded her that in the aftermath, she had cruelly pointed the finger at Ben's brother. Hey, she cruelly pointed the finger at an innocent snake and all. Let's not forget that. Do you know what kind of cold heart lies within you? They asked on the stand. The most damning testimony came from Humphrey, dressed in his prison jumpsuit. He described Renick walking up to Ben whilst he was tending his snakes and she doing basically the deed. The jury then deliberates for over 12 hours before finding her guilty of the lesser charge of second degree. In January, she was sentenced to 16 years in prison, 13 years for ending the life, and 3 for armed criminal action. She must serve at least 85% of her sentence before being eligible for parole. She says, "You're awfully lucky, ma'am, Judge Kevin Crane told Renick, because you're going to get out in your 40s. Whew, and I like this bit at the end. It's very apt. Ben was used to dealing with snakes, but he never suspected he had taken such a cold-blooded, poisonous creature into his home. Now, I mean, respect to the jury, don't get me wrong, but it took them 12 hours to deliberate whether she was guilty or not. And then they find her guilty on second degree rather than first degree. Like, that blows my mind. Like, no, to me, my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, it is freaking obvious it's first degree. Freaking obvious, right? There was an incentive, all that freaking money. She wasn't having a great time with her failing business. She wasn't happy in the marriage. She was having affairs left, right, and centre and all that malarkey. Concocts this story that her husband's evil, this, that, and the other. Like, dude, she literally changes the story 3 freaking times. Firstly, the snake did it. Then it's the brother. Now it's the ex-partner. And the jury's like, nah, it's not first degree, it's second degree. Yeah, what? How? Why come to that freaking conclusion? To me, I ain't no legal eagle. Quite clearly. I got a degree, but it ain't in law, right? But I'll tell you this for price of fish. That, to me, don't make no sense whatsoever freaking ever being done on second degree rather than first. What the deuce? What do you guys think after all that? Let me know. Sound off in your gobs down below in the comment section. And if you haven't done so already and you love true crime on the daily served with a little bit of sass and gobbiness, basically this, right? Make sure before you leave you smash the hell out of that subscribe button. Like, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until the next time, you guys, laters.